Welcome to A Course in Miracles, Workbook Lesson 187. And this lesson says, I bless the world because I bless myself. Now, what is to bless? Bless you. It really means to accept you unconditionally. It means I accept you unconditionally. To bless is to love. I bless you means I love you as you are. The world and you, and what appears to be you, is in the mind that dreams, your dreaming mind. We don't have individual minds. We appear in the mind who localizes as 8 billion people on this planet. So we are appearing in our own dream and experiences the world separately from its own localized perspective. Therefore, each one thinks they think and each one thinks they see. But you're a device through which the dreaming mind sees the activities of its own dreaming mind. You're not seeing anything. Do you know how far you can see? Well, you can see stars. You can see billions of light years away. So are you really seeing it? Yet you can't focus on a page because your eyesight's bad. Shows you the paradox of this delusion. And this is vital that you get this. You got to go beyond understanding. You got to go into the transcendence of being. No one can give unless he has. The fact that I'm giving you this means I have it. I have this understanding. In fact, giving is proof of having. We have made this point before, which seems to make it hard to credit that it is not this. No one can doubt that you must first possess what you would give: a loaf of bread, someone a drink, a glass of water. You need to have water. It is the second phase on which the world and true perception differ. Having had and given, the world asserts that you have lost what you possessed. So I gave you my car, I've lost my car. The truth maintains that giving will increase what you possess, and that's why people often give in the hope of gaining. But what this is talking about, it's not talking about giving illusions. It's not giving things, it's giving truth. For things aren't real. Things are illusions. What is real? We give ourself to self. We give our awareness to our awareness. We give the love we are to the love we are. That's what to give is. Of course, the church has turned it into tithing and told you must give to the poor. What are you giving to the poor? Charity? Sure, by all means. But first and foremost, you must have to give. And what are you really giving but of yourself, your true self? This is giving. This is me giving my time, my awareness, and sharing it with you. Not in ways that is going to appease you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to share you the truth through my direct experience, not something I've read in a book. In that case, I would just be reading this, and you can then just go to the app and listen to the robot voice talk you through A Course in Miracles. I'm sharing, I'm exploring, and I'm expanding so that you can start to comprehend, and through comprehension, apply it to life, your experience. And through that experience, the voice the voice of God in you, God's Holy Spirit in you, your true self, your Holy Spirit self, transcends the idea of this body mind into that which you truly are. So to truly give is to increase, because it's all given to its oneself. If we all activities in one dreaming mind, imagine you're at night dreaming and there's 100 of you, and 90 of them are starving, but 10 of them have food. If those 10 were to give it to the 90, who are they giving it to? You, the dreamer. It's giving to oneself. Now in your dream, all 100 people now are happily satisfied. They've all eaten now. Whereas in your dream, perhaps in the beginning, you only had 10 with food and 90 was starving. You didn't feel good. You woke up, you felt bad. Now those 10 have given to the 90, all 100 have eaten. You feel good. That's how God feels when we share of ourselves knowingly to ourselves. So in truth, giving increases what we possess. And what do we possess? Remember, we learned this earlier. To have is to be, and to be is to have. And we have everything we've ever needed. Maybe not in the illusion of the world, but we have everything we've ever needed. What do we need? To be ourselves knowingly, that spark of life that makes your heart beat, that makes your lungs work, make you breathe, and you're aware. Because what is truth of what we are? The truth of what we are is we are the awareness of awareness. We essence energy, essence awareness. How's this possible? For it is sure that if you give a finite thing away, a possession, a physicality, an illusion, your body's eyes will not perceive it as yours anymore. Yet we have learned that things but represent the thoughts that make them. And you do not lack for proof that when you give ideas away, you strengthen them in your own mind. That's what religion did. It gave the idea of its nonsense. And, 2,000 years later, thousands and thousands of churches and societies have been built around churches. It gave those ideas away. The fallen mind accepted those ideas, bought into the ideas, contributed to those ideas, and religion was born. Now we move out of religion into the non-dual understanding, into the true Gnostic wisdom of the Christ. And you don't lack any proof of it because it's clear that it happens all the time. You've experienced it yourself firsthand. Perhaps the form in which the thought seems to appear is changed in giving, yet it must return to him who gives. The more I share this, the more I know it knowingly as the truth. Nor can the form it takes be less acceptable. It must be more. The more I share it, the more I reinforce it. I speak with conviction because it's real for me. I'm sharing God's reality now, no longer my illusionary human reality. Ideas must first belong to you before you give them. And so they need to filter through you. And that's why I say no one awakens. Awakening is happening through all of us. No one becomes enlightened. The light is flowing through all of us. It's light that animates us. It's light that gives us the appearance of life. So ideas must first belong to us, and then we give them away. For if you are to save the world, and the old way of saying save is to put things away, get rid of it, put it away. If you are to save the world, you must first accept salvation for yourself. You must know you are saved. Saved from what? From no longer forgetting what you are. You are saved in remembering what you are, the eternal extension of the love, the light, the essence, which is God. But you will not believe that this is done until you see the miracles it brings to everyone you look upon. And what is the miracle? Again, don't get trapped in the fixing and the healing of limbs and the blind will see. The miracle is truly the mind awakens unto itself and realizes this isn't true. What's the point of saving a body if it stays asleep? Herein is the idea of giving clarified and given meaning. Now you can perceive that by your giving is your store increased. We give from our storehouse of knowing to the storehouse of ourself. Protect all the things you value by giving them away, and you are sure that you will never lose them. But we cannot value illusions. We can't give illusions away. What can we value? We can only value what is true. And what is true? The peace of God, the joy of God, infinite lightness of being, the love we are. And that's what we give away by extending it. And by extending love, we have love. By extending peace, we become peaceful. By extending joy, we become joyful. We don't become joyful by trying to gain it and capture it and make it our own. How do we give understanding unless we are understanding? How do we give clarity of thought until we're completely clear of the thought we are? And what are we but a clear, unadulterated, innocent, unchanged, forever perfect thought in God's mind? What you thought you did not have is thereby proven yours. And what is it that you thought you didn't have? The knowing of yourself. Yet value not its form, for this will change and grow, unrecognizable in time. I am age, I image, I am aging. Image, I am ages, I am age. However much you try to keep it safe, bodies can't be kept safe. No form endures, none. All of us will die in form, die to the self, awaken to the Christ self. It is the thought behind the form of things that lives unchangeable, the true essence of what we are. And that's why the only thing we truly share, the only thing we can share in God is the peace of God, the joy of God, the love of God. That's the truth. And how does that play out through us? It's peaceful joy. Give gladly. You can only gain thereby. The thought remains and grows in strength and is reinforced by giving, by sharing. It's reinforced in you. Thoughts extend as they are shared, for they cannot be lost. There is no giver and receiver in the sense the world conceives of them. There is a giver who retains, another who will give as well. And both must gain in this exchange. For each will have the thought and form that is most helpful to him. Of course it will. You've been given everything you need. Your makeup, the way your brain works, your body, your family, your function, everything, especially the tough stuff, especially the disasters, are designed to get you to want to go, God, there must be another way. This isn't working. There must be another way. Everything's designed to take us to that. So we finally surrender and say, show me. Thoughts extend as they are shared, for they cannot be lost. There is no giver and receiver in the sense of the world conceives the way the world conceives them. There is a giver who retains, another who will give as well. All that is given to our one shared infinite being in God. And both must gain in this exchange, for each will have the thought in form most helpful to him. Everything is always serving you, especially the times when you think it's not. What he seems to lose is always something he will value less than what will surely be returned to him. You give away thoughts of peace and you gain liberation. You give forgiveness and you gain liberation. You give yourself knowingly and you liberate. By grace I live, by grace I am released. What is grace? Grace is patience. That's why it's called a grace period. Because God is eternal and therefore patience is eternal. God's grace is his eternal patience, waiting for you, a fractured part of his dreaming son's mind, to return to itself knowingly and join knowingly with God's essence we've never left. It's not that God has lost you. It's you've lost your awareness of your connection to God. You can never be anywhere but in God, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. There's nowhere God is not. You're always in God, but you're dreaming, you're on a journey. Never forget that you but give to yourself, your Christ self, who understands what giving means and must laugh at the idea of sacrifice. And even Jesus taught in the Bible, I seek mercy, not sacrifice. Nor can he fail to recognize the many forms which sacrifice may take. He laughs at pain and loss, at sickness and at grief, at poverty, starvation, and death. He laughs at our conflicting thoughts that keep us trapped because we can't people please, or we need to people please. And we so empathetic that we're constantly feeling all the pain of everybody else because we need to be seen as good, because we need everybody's validation in order to believe we're good, because knowing we're good is not enough. We need everybody else to tell us we're good because we don't believe our own true self. He recognizes sacrifice remains the one idea that stands behind us all. And he means gentle laughter, they are healed. And what is people pleasing but sacrificing ourselves? So we feel good about ourselves, even though we hate ourselves because we're sacrificing to make other people feel better. So we tell them what they want to hear, even though we hate it. We avoid external conflict and we build the conflict inside us, constantly trying to appease everybody. Stop trying to appease anyone. Be faithful to the Lord God of your being first and foremost. And everything else can go argo. And argo means argo fuck yourself. Literally, figuratively, and every which way you want to. I just can't give a shit. Because I love the self you are. I love the self in you. But I'm not going to appease your body, mind, ego, identity. No matter how much you think I'm supposed to be holy or spiritual, or how holy or spiritual you appear to be, or a man of God or woman of whatever the hell you are, I don't give a fuck. Just don't give a fuck. Because I'm free to the realization that I'm free of my thoughts and definitely free of your thoughts. That's not what people want to hear. When you hear that I'm spiritual and I love you and I must stay, please don't stay. Please fuck off and leave me alone. Every thought we have, hear me closely. Those of you that have the ears of the heart. Listen very closely. Not in this book. Here, listen. You ready? Every single thought we have, except the thought of unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, which is the thought we have with God. Every other single thought we've ever had, ever will have, or having right now, every single thought is a sacrifice to the silent stillness and awareness we are. Every thought prevents the Christ from knowing itself through you, as one indivisible Christ in one indivisible God. Every single thought's a sacrifice. As kids, we used to say, shut up and grow rich. Silence is golden, so shut up and grow rich. Silence is enlightenment, so be still and know I am. And if that's not working, then please just shut the fuck up and know I am. Yes. Illusions recognized must disappear. What are these things you see but fractured parts of yourself? Illusions of the self you are. What's inside each self? The same self, the same shared self, the same shared essence as the self we all are. Be true to that. Even if it means disappointing the body-mind illusions. Accept not suffering, not for yourself, not for them. And you remove the thought of suffering. So you think you suffer. Well, then it's because you're thinking. Stop thinking you're not suffering. Every time you suffer, there was a thought behind the suffering. You suffer the past. How can you suffer the past? You're thinking about the past into the present. You suffer. You suffer the fear of the future. Why are you suffering the fear of the future? You're thinking about the future. You're suffering. Stop thinking. Be present. Be still. No thought. No suffering. Pain, yes. You stood on a thorn, your foot sore, but are you suffering the pain? Or you just sore foot? A sore illusionary foot. Your blessing lies on everyone who suffers. When you choose to see all suffering as what it is, illusions, filtrations that block the light of awareness. The thought of sacrifice gives rise to all the forms that suffering appear to take, and including, and most often, the thoughts, the form of thoughts in form. And sacrifice is an idea so mad that sanity dismisses it at once. The only thing we can truly sacrifice, we sacrifice illusions for God's reality. Suffering is resisting the what is of illusions. And yet what is all of this is appearing in one collective mind. What appears in that which is. So what is the activities of the dreaming mind appearing in that which is God's mind. The entire universe is the appearance of what is. What's really there? Just the light of awareness. And where does that light of awareness? It all appears in God's mind. God is not dreaming. Sun is dreaming. The extension of God is dreaming. Never believe that you can sacrifice. You know, I love these people. Oh, I had my children, and then like, oh, I did it for you. Well, no. You did it for yourself. Shag, marry, kill, 11 minutes of shagging, 9 months of pregnancy, 30 fucking years of hell, and then you tell your children, no, you did it for them, and you're sacrificing yourself for them. No, arsehole. You sacrifice because you wanted to have children, because you needed an image about yourself of being a good parent. Now you suffer your 11 minutes of pleasure. Don't tell your children that you sacrifice for them. Don't be a fucking arsehole your whole life. Okay? Don't be those horrible parents of the past. Don't blame your children for the shit that you give up. You do the stuff you do because you do it. You can't sacrifice your children. You either love them unconditionally or not at all. You can't sacrifice. There is no place for sacrifice in what has any value. If the thought occurs, its very presence proves that error has arisen and correction must be made. I seek mercy, forgiveness, not sacrifice. Your blessing will correct it. Your acceptance of what is will correct it. Your loving it will correct it. Given first to you, it is now yours to give as well. No form of sacrifice and suffering can long endure before the face of one who has forgiven and has blessed himself. Because once forgiveness is done, there's no sacrifice. The lilies your brother offer you are laid upon your altar. What are lilies? Forgiveness with the ones you offer him besides them. Who could fear to look upon such lovely holiness? It's given to one, it's given to all. Nothing to sacrifice, but the idea of illusions. Give that up. The great illusion of the fear of God diminishes to nothingness before the purity that you will look on here. What is the purity? The extension of God's essence through us all. Be not afraid to look. Be not afraid to sink into the heart center, sink into the silent stillness, go into the void, let the void flow through you. That silent stillness is peace. As it flows, it becomes joy, the joyous knowing of being, the joyous lightness of being, the joyous transcendence from identity into the knowing of our shared essence with God. Let me read this one again. The great illusion of fear, the fear of God, diminishes to nothingness before the purity that you will look on here. Be yourself knowingly. Be not afraid to be yourself knowingly. Be not afraid to look at the limitlessness of the emptiness, because there's no thing. It's just energy ever extending. That's what we are. The blessedness you will behold will take away all thoughts of form, physical form, people. You no longer care about what you think. You no longer care about what they think, because it's all form. And what is form? Illusion. What is illusion? Ego. And what is ego? Unforgiven thought. Every form is an unforgiven thought playing as an activity in the mind of the dreaming Christ. Okay. Every form that's taken form, first formless thought, thoughtless form, spirit. That formless thought then projected, became physical thought in form. Every single thought in the dreaming mind is a sacrifice to the awareness we are. So what does it appear when it appears as form? It's fear. It's an unforgiven thought, desperately trying to remember itself as the love of God it is. That's what we all are. Thoughts that have not forgiven ourselves for having taken form because we knew not what we were. Like Jesus on the cross, he says, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. A better translation was, forgive them, Father, for they have no idea what they're doing. Forgive them, Father, for they're not doing anything. There's no one there. Forgive me, Father, for dreaming them up. The blessedness you will behold will take away all thought of form and leave instead the perfect gift forever here, forever to increase, forever yours, forever given away, the perfect gift of awareness, our essential nature, our peaceful joy and silent stillness we are. The nature of God is silent stillness, peaceful, joyous movement. Unconditional love is the nature of God, energy. Now we are one in thought, for fear is gone. We are one in thought in God's mind. One thought, one mind, awareness of the awareness essence we are in God as God's essence. What did God make us from? His essence, his energy. And here before the altar to one God, one Father, one Creator, one thought, we stand together as one Son of God, one thought, one Christ. What does God think? God thought love. And as he extended the thoughts of love, we are created, not as body minds, but as the energy, which is God. That's what the sonship is. Billions upon trillions upon septillions of thoughts, energy cells extending, God extending. One fell asleep and dreamt up his tree. One thought in God's mind is dreaming. All of us up. We're not separate from him who is our source, not distant from one brother who is part of one self, whose innocence has joined us all as one. We stand in blessedness and give as we receive. One dreaming mind dreamt this all up. And that one dreaming mind is in God's mind as a thought of love. And therefore, when the fractured parts of this dreaming mind realize they are an extension of God's love, we awaken to self, we awaken the self as Christ, and we share our knowingly. And the dream ends, the universe dissolves, and the light of God's eternity continues. The name of God is on our lips. And what is the name of God? Silent stillness. And as we look within, we see the purity of heaven shine in our reflection of our Father's love. So when we know ourselves as love, the world appears as love. The world's not going to change until you change. When you change your view of what you are, the view of the world changes. You don't change your view about the world. You change your view about what you are, because the world is an external representation of how you see and know yourself. And when you know yourself as God's eternal extension of love, when you can be yourself knowingly, not in concept, not intellectually, but knowingly, in your heart of hearts, in the center stillness, which is the heaven itself in which we abide with God. When you know that to be true, when you know you are love, you care not for your appearance, you care not for your persona, your personality. The road continues, the love extends in total clarity. You care not for figures. You care for the well-being of the collective mind, and you be honest. You don't tell them what they want to hear. You tell them the truth, that they can look within and find the truth within themselves. I can only direct. I cannot be your experience for you. No one can. I can share a new way of seeing. That's it. Now we are blessed, and now we bless the world. Why? Because the world's in our dreaming mind, one collective dreaming mind. We have looked upon the world, what we would extend, but we would see it everywhere. It is now here, everywhere. We would behold it as shining with the grace of God in everyone. Grace, the patience, the love of God in everyone. We would not have it be withheld from anything we look upon. And to ensure his holy sight is ours, we offer it to everything we see. So you bless it all the time. In other words, bless me, Holy Son of God, that I may know I am the holy blessing of God, and that we may know we are joined as one eternally as God's eternal love. For where we see it, we will be returned to, for where we see it, it will be returned to us in forms of lily, forgiveness, that we lay upon the altar, upon the heart, forgiven, all obstacles to peace gone. Until you've forgiven everything that has held you back, every thought, every activity, you will trap yourself. And the very things that you haven't forgiven will keep repeating until you forgive them. Everything that's unforgiven will keep repeating in a different form. Like I said, could have been your father, now it's your wife, then it's your boss, then it's your whatever. It's always going to come back at you. It's the same lesson in different forms. Forgiveness sets us free, making it a home for innocence itself, who dwells in us and offers us his holiness as ours. So for where you see it, it will return to us in the form of lilies we can lay upon our altar. Forgiveness. I've forgiven, I'm set free. Making it a home for innocence itself. I am innocence myself, because innocence is the love of God. The body mind is full of shit. This body mind's a rogue. Pay no attention and give a single attention to Lou. Please give me no attention. Listen to the message. This will disappoint you. This is just a piss you off. It's what's here. It's what's coming through. Christ's voice coming through, sharing with you. And sharing with you, showing you that you don't have to be a holy person to have God speak with you. You don't have to be holy and give your life to Jesus and all of that nonsense. Just be. Making it a home for innocence itself, who dwells in us and offers us his holiness as ours. Be thyself knowingly. Be as you are. Be joyful as you are. Be grateful as you are. Be yourself. Amen. Stop there. Have some questions.